Okay, so now that you've seen at least the way I want it set up, and now let's actually talk about what you need to do for this attendance. And I actually had chat redo this and it said independent work. And I thought, yeah, it is kind of independent work, but we're going to do it together. And you'll see what I mean. So write two original queries. And what I mean by this is don't write 2 through 6 of the DSE problem set. Write something different. Come up with your own thing. Look at the data. And this is where getting to know this data set is really helpful. Write one query that must correctly use group by and or. Okay, so and could be both, or it could be one or the other. Okay, correctly, right? And then write another one, right, that is the join or a subquery, right? Because in this case, in the problem set, you're going to end up seeing sometimes you'll attempt it with a join, sometimes you won't. And this is part of this data set is figuring out how to write the SQL that you need. Okay, so first you're going to write two. So now, of course, like before, you would do these, right? Now I'm going to comment out this, okay? And I think I gave you, if I didn't, I will here. Right, yeah. So in this case, write your queries, right? I say here, do your proof of work, and that's because I want to see your proof of work, right? And your so for each one. So when you get your first attendance query, and so it'd be 1, so you have your first one done, and then attendance query 2, right? And each one should show me a different proof of work, different proof of proof of effort, proof of work, and get workflow. Okay, so first that's your do this part. Okay, do those, write those queries in that DESQ file. Okay, cool. Now, when you're done with that, when you have that done, then you're going to come back here. And what you're going to do is in your reply, you're going to tell us the queries that you wrote. And I'm going to show you how to do this in kind of the way the backticks work in the markdown file. But you're going to give us your query. You're going to give us the number of records returned by each query. Okay, just like, again, the count and a brief description explaining what the query does. And again, kind of like the print, but in this case, because it's a discussion, right? Now, in this case, the thing is, I don't want to see a duplicate of queries. So if somebody writes a query, then you need to, your queries should not be the same. Now I'm going to do a peer review next, but I'm just telling you, right? So now let's show you how to do this. And I'm just going to take, and actually I'll do it with this one, okay? Just to show you. So when you write your queries, I'm going to copy that content right there to show you. In your reply, what you're sharing is your queries, right? Now, by the way, you can put some text here. My first query, right here, you could make it a heading. You could play with this, make it fun, right? And then you could actually often do my second query, right? And have all those things included that I talked about before. Now, in this case, I'm going to do it wrong to begin with. You might just think pasting it, right? But actually, we can upgrade our skills a little bit here. So what I would do here is I'd get rid of that. And I'm going to drop into the HTML. Now, HTML is something, if you're on the web developer path, you know what this is. And if you are not, it's still good, because even if you're in the data analytics path, you're going to need to know HTML. So in this case, this drops us. So if I go back and forth, toggle back and forth, right? So I'm looking at the rendered, we call WYSIWYG. If I come here, I'm looking at the code. So what you want to do is create a line here and type PRE. Now notice what that does, and yours may not. Part of this is me learning how to have this thing. So I open it, PRE, I close it, which is predefined, okay? And now I'm going to paste that in there. Now let's come back here. Now notice, because it's very specific, it's going to take whatever that formatting is. So what I would maybe want to do, I could do a couple of things here. I could drop that down to the next line here, remove that space. Okay, I could do that. I think that looks pretty good, right? And then I would do that. And by the way, you also remember, I'm saying up here, I don't want to go too far. In addition, you would have a count here, right? I'm not going to do it. And then you would have your description, right? Describe. Okay. I should say print, but whatever. Okay. So add, so those are the three things you need. Again, this is most of the points here. Okay. Okay. So you'll do that. You'll do that in your reply. Right. So there it is. And I like the way it outputs as well. I just think it looks nicer. Okay. So you'll have that. You'll make sure those work. You'll do your workflows. Now, here is the peer review part of this. So we're going to look at each other's queries. So reply to one classmate's post. And again, really try to look at somebody's post that hasn't had a reply. Just better now. And if you're waiting to the last minute, it could be a little more challenging. But hopefully you don't. Okay, so first reply to one student's post and just run their queries. Now in this case, you don't actually have to save their queries into your query file. Just run them either on the terminal. Like if I was in here, I would just take their code that they posted, right? Take their code right here. See if it ran, right? See if, matter of fact, I should probably do it just in case bringing that over creates any. Okay, so that actually did run, right? Now I just thought of that. I didn't say do the count, right? I just said provide the query and then provide the count. So you now know how to do the count query, so you'd be fine here, okay? Now, if one of their queries fell, provide them constructive feedback, which by the way, you should not post, and I should say, I don't want to say should, but the part of this is actually making sure your code, your query, your SQL produces output. But if they do, that's okay. Provide them feedback. But really, here's what we want to do. If both run successfully, which we hope, then choose one of them and modify it to produce different results. Okay? So take their query and figure out some way to modify it. Again, we're just spending more time on the data set. That's really what we're doing here. Now, in your reply, you don't have to reply saying anything. Just share your modified query. Again, with the PRE. And this is the way I will grade this, right? No need to have these variations in your file, right? This is just for you to, this part, this peer review part is just in the discussion to see variations. And then again, if I see 2 through 6, right, it'll hurt your grade. So don't do that. And not only that, it's not the purpose here. Okay, so I hope this is a fun, interactive, in a different kind of way. It's kind of like we're speaking SQL to each other instead of English. Okay, I hope this makes sense, and I'll now go refine my regular problem set 2 through 6 and publish that.